Much of the coverage out of Joplin is based over near the St. John's Mercy Hospital. As these floodwaters rise, Holt County residents can only sit and watching the flood gauge here in Rulo, Nebraska. The train derailment in Miami County forced dozens of people from their homes. Tonight, those people in Osawatomie are back home, and everyone is breathing a sigh of relief. According to structural engineers, if a tornado hits, the best place to be is low to the ground, if not inside the ground. Find a box, someplace like a stairwell, and protect yourself from any flying debris. A lover's quarrel ends with gasoline, a lit match, and a man covered in flames. One concern the mayor of Atchison does have is actually for his Missouri neighbors. There are quite a few who live there but are employed here in Atchison or utilize the Atchison businesses.
Fox 4's Meredith Hoenes is live with more about a flood-friendly building. Fill us in, Meredith.
It sounds crazy, but this is what Embassy Landscapes didn't want to have to worry about, the rising waters of the Missouri River. So to stay in what they call a perfect location, they designed a building not only to allow water to come in, but also able to get rid of it.
He knew exactly what we were going for. He knew what happened in the past. He knew what needed to be done in the future to protect us.
When Embassy Landscape built just feet from the Missouri River, the design wasn't by accident.
Everything down here is either cylinder block or concrete.
Materials that won't be damaged by water. This is where all movable equipment was stored.
Actual physical moving started this week.
Stationary items like electrical systems, compressors, fire safety switches are built 5 to 8 feet off the ground, allowing the office upstairs to keep running.
So we can shut off the power to the downstairs and still keep operational upstairs.
But if flooded, how would workers get in? Just use the doors that were left open for the water's easy access.
Make sure that there's plenty of open doors so we can get it in one direction and back out the other way.
To do that, they open the doors inside the building, and then they open these garage doors they have on each side of the building. That way, water keeps flowing through and never gets stagnant.
The way it's designed is the water will come in, and then we can just sweep it on back out.
Stairs to go up will still be accessible. The elevator will be shut down.
And the fact that it's made the way it is, that we can just sweep out whatever comes in, sweep out the mud and debris, and we'll be able to go back right like we were prior, that is very comforting. Very comforting.
Now, those Embassy Landscape crews will be working out of mobile locations, the same locations they're keeping that equipment that they're moving out. As for those office workers, they will continue to come and go as long as Riverside keeps their floodgates open on 9 Highway. Meredith Hoenes, Fox 4 News, working for you, this time in Parkville. News of Scott Bostwick's death rattled all who knew him.
Everybody is shocked and everybody's sad because Scott was the kind of guy that everybody liked.
The news was more than just shocking. Many had spent Saturday with Bostwick at football camp.
Anybody that knows Scott knows how passionate he is about football. I mean, the guy literally just, you know, the biggest spoon in the world that he used to soup it up with him.
That was our first national championship in 1998.
A passion no one knew better than Bostwick's mentor.
The toughest thing for me is that excuse me, his enthusiasm for this opportunity was so great. He was so excited from the time that he was named head coach until yesterday.
Coach Dirchma helped break the news to Bostwick's players.
He was a good teacher. He was a hard teacher. He got after guys, but they always knew that he cared about them, and he made sure that they knew that.
And to show him they cared about him, all of Coach Bostwick's players showed up to Monday's practice.
I think what you will see on the field is that'll be their release and their getaway from, you know, from all this.
And honoring him isn't going to stop there. Players are already trying to find ways to remember the coach on the field once the season starts. One idea is somehow incorporating the coach's famous red hat he wore so his defense could find him on the sidelines.
Keep your feet, go!
Just one of many memories.
I think that's what he leaves, is the pride and the passion when you put on the green, when you put on the paw.
Why our town? Why our home? Why my son or husband or wife or sister or friend? Why?
It was a day of mourning, a day of remembrance in Joplin. From Governor Nixon reliving the days after the storm hit to President Obama telling stories of two men sacrificing their own lives to save others.
Just as we can't know why tragedy strikes in the first place, we may never fully understand where these men and women find the courage and strength to do what they did.
Both touching on the strength survivors have shown the world with their determination to rebuild.
We are famously stubborn and self-reliant, practical, impatient, but whatever may divide us, we always come together in crisis. And once we set our resolve, no storm, no fire, no flood can turn us from our task.
Both leaders promising to remain with Joplin even when the media leaves.
We will still be here in Joplin, together, preparing for the long journey out of darkness into light.
And reminding those who survived the storm that they too have a mission. Honor those who didn't.
We are called by them to do everything we can to be worthy of the chance that we've been given to carry on.
Rebels in Libya are getting a big boost in their fight against Muammar Gaddafi. NATO forces have added special attack helicopters to their arsenal in Libya. They'll allow more precise strikes as NATO takes on Gaddafi's loyalists, and at night, officers will be able to use infrared cameras to see targets. Gaddafi is still refusing to step down from power after a long fight with his people. Robert Gates is appealing for patience with the war in Afghanistan. He made a farewell visit to the country before he retires as the United States Defense Secretary. Many in Congress are arguing for an even earlier U.S. exit from Afghanistan now that terrorist Osama bin Laden is dead. But Gates says we need to wait it out.
Our hope is that because of his personal relationship with Mullah Omar, that his death will lead to a weakening of that relationship and perhaps the Taliban's willingness to walk away from Al-Qaeda and disavow them. But I think it's too early to tell.
Gates is retiring at the end of the month. A British intelligence agency is fighting Al-Qaeda one cupcake at a time. Hackers for MI6 replaced an Al-Qaeda file online that detailed how to make bombs with recipes for tasty cupcakes. As Curtis Jackson tells us, one of those recipes came all the way from an Ohio bakery. The Army Corps of Engineers is reporting a levee breach along the Missouri River near Hamburg, Iowa. Teams of volunteers rolled up their sleeves to fill sandbags this weekend in Council Bluffs, Iowa. The town is expecting major flooding. The goal was to fill 100,000 sandbags over 2 days. Instead, the group filled 200,000 in just one day. Organizers say better safe than sorry.
In the event that they do need to be deployed somewhere, we've got them made, and it's simply a matter of transporting them rather than producing them.
Floodwaters along the Missouri River are expected to rise at a rate of 2 inches per day. In Leavenworth, Kansas, city officials warn the conditions could rival the Great Flood of '93. That's because in the northern states, heavy snowfall and rain have created a need to open up the dams at historic rates. Many people in Leavenworth are preparing for the worst, but they are hoping for the best. Now, in the Southwest, it's not floods, but wildfires that are threatening several communities. One blaze is now the 3rd largest in state history. Fox News correspondent Casey Stagel with more on the situation from Los Angeles.
2 major wildfires on 2 different fronts burning in Arizona.